some of the
Good
weight.
night, Irene.
Robinson goes face first.
6,
Lord have mercy.
7,
Night,
8,
night.
9. You all right, Nate?
Robinson gets back to his feet. He feels that it was back to his head.
You want to continue?
Back of his head, a
Come
rabbit
here.
punch.
Give me your gloves. Give me your gloves.
Have to wait
You
to
okay
see the
continue,
replay.
Nate? Give me the gloves. Protect yourself.
Well, Robinson looks like he's been rattled and explodes with a right hand. And, all right, turn it into a wrestling match, Snoop, and I know your cousin Sasha Banks is enjoying it.
Yeah, she's loving every minute of it. She may give a WWE contract out after this.
Let's go.
Be careful, Nate. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Nate.
No punch.
Be careful. It's like one of them hood fights, but you got to be
Let's
careful,
put it
Nate.
back, guys.
It's like he's exploding off the line back in his football days, but wow. Again, it's not pretty.
It's a fight.
It's a fight, brother.
It's a dog fight right now, man. It's a dog fight.
Hey, it's a dog fight.
It's a Snoop Dogg fight, baby.
Ease him up, please. Drink water.
See, I was ahead of my time, Israel.
Like
I
this.
see you.
I want you to be relaxed. And breathe.
Yeah, give him some advice. Talk to him, corner. Get him
I
right.
know that. I see.
I think the
see.
experience of
I see.
Paul
Okay.
is kicking
Don't
in
worry
right
about
now.
it.
He's a little bit more
Okay?
experienced
Don't
out
worry
there.
about
He
it.
know how to
Yes, you can.
dance around that ring instead of being so
What the cup?
anxious.
You're feeling. Okay, okay.
Slow down, Nate.
So remember, we go to
We didn't see the replay. All right, here it is. Here it is.
Okey-dokey.
Let's see if this was
In the
fair
body, in the head
or
forward.
foul.
You know
Boom.
foul.
That was
Oh,
fair.
that was fair.
Why
Back
do
in
you
the
say
air.
Air,
you
man.
are like
That was in the
this?
air. The
Why?
GB20
Because
nerve.
you
Yeah,
know
the
how
ear,
we
huh?
think
Yeah.
different. You know
That
what I
can
mean?
Control a lot of the nerves in your body, right?
Yeah, 100%. That shuts you down, but you can regain it. He
Get it though.
Look, the photo match we mentioned in airplane mode, but it was Robinson
Damn,
on his
Nate.
feet, second round only. Snoop, this is a fight.
Yeah, but they got his trainer didn't show him too much defense. He got a good offense, but I don't see no defense. Come on, Nate, you gotta. When I was in the ring, I was taught to swing and then bring it back, swing and bring it back. Like it's a bring back situation, right, Sugar Ray?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just saying,
Absolutely.
it's supposed to come back, right?
I think what you said was right, Snoop. He's a bit nervous. He's anxious. He hasn't controlled his nerves, so he's swinging wild.
Right.
But there he goes. See, Jake, one thing I'll give Jake credit for is from his first fight that I saw to this, he's improved.
Right, definitely.
But Nate is not letting him showcase that. Well, he's doing the right things, but like you said, he's got to like take his time. Oh, here we go. Now he's taking his time. He's forced to now.
And he got to switch it up because he's fighting a professional fighter. You can't do the same moves every time. You got to make
He's
him
going to
think.
read you. He's going to read you eventually.
Yeah, make him think.
There you go. Feint, step. Oh, there's a feint from Jake.
Caught him. Oh, my God. Lord have mercy. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Snoop, talk about
Precious Lord, take my hand.
Oh, he got up.
Lead me on. Let me stand.
Wow, nothing funny about what's happening with Nate Robinson, but Snoop Dogg is singing the hymns. He's trying to get.
Oh,
Mamma mia, the problem child proven to be a big problem.
Oh,
Nate Robinson.
my goodness.
And of course,
Call the ambulance. Pick
well,
up the people.
we need definite medical attention for Nate Robinson. And again, Snoop,
be back.
this is why you don't play boxing, brother.
No.
It's the hurt business. And Robinson could be hurt.
He'll be all right. Nate from the hood, he gonna check that off. But like you said, you can play basketball, you can play football, but one thing you can, it's two things you can't play. You can't play boxing, you can't play with this pimping. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Well, medical attention now being administered, and this is again why you wonder these celebrity type matchups. Israel, they bring the crowds. We look to get the crossover. Robinson doing this for his family, his brothers in the NBA, athletes across the world, and his children, but it didn't turn out the way he would have liked.
Like you said, you're trying to cross over, man, but you can't play this. You have to be serious.
Yeah.
Like I said, Jake has done the right things by getting better, but this ain't a game, man.
This is not a sport. This is a lifestyle.
Exactly. You got to be able to dedicate yourself.
Ray Leonard, what do you make of what we just saw?
It's all experience. I mean, you don't play, like you said, you don't play boxing.
So what do you like Jake Paul? And I mean, again, how everything being relative. What did you like about his technique?
Like I
mean,
said,
he had
from what
power.
I've seen, he's just picking his shots. He knew when he hurt him, he's like, right, he's hurt now. I'm not going to bum rush him. I'm going to pick shots, and eventually he's going to fall. And he did just that.
His Rhodomontade has ruffled more than a few feathers, but Snoop Jake Paul has delivered.
I lost money. My son just hit me and said, "Run me my money."
At the action and the thunderous knockout. 3 looks at the first knockdown here, Israel.
He missed the jab, and then right on the head, right on the temple. And to hit someone on the forehead as well and shake him, that's a hard punch.
If you notice, though, Israel, there was little defense from Nate the whole fight. It seemed like his trainer only showed him how to, be offensive. You have to be defensive in this sport.
100%. Good balance, good balance.
And
Great
you must
craftsmanship.
clench your mouth and hold your stomach in tight to take this hit that you're about to get. You can't be loose in there like that.
And here comes the conclusion. The internet superstar maybe going viral with another knockout as Nate Robinson falling face first. He's thankfully on his stool after being, knocked out.
Yeah, man. Hate all you want. Hate all you want. But Jake Paul, he's showing he's about this life.
He about that life. Jake Paul about that life.
All right, let's make it official with Barry Egan.
Los Angeles, the time 1 minute 35 seconds into round number 2 for the winner by way of knockout and still undefeated from Calabasas by way of Cleveland, Ohio. He is the problem child, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul with all kinds of personality and, polarizing to say the least, but hey, over 30 million followers across social media, and Snoop, you know all about talking the talk.
Man, see, this is not my sport. You'll never see me get in the ring. I may do a little WWE, something that's, organized, you know what I'm saying? But never this. I remember once upon a time I did get in the ring with Roy Jones Jr. for 1 round.
Sparring?
I thought it was sparring, but he was really hitting me.
Of course, Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson coming up. Looking forward to having Snoop Dogg at ringside. And let's take a look at the punch stats here. Snoop, take us through the numbers, my friend.
Right now, we got 8 landed by Jake Paul. We got 10 landed from Nate Robinson, which you didn't really see those 10, which was a 38 thrown. He had 8 out of 38, 10 out of 56, 21%, 18%. It was a close fight, but those punches that Jake threw was more powerful, and they made more of an effect on Nate. As you see, he fell down 2 or 3 times behind those powerful punches.
Definitely not the numbers you're used to accruing, Snoop Dogg, throughout your illustrious career. And Snoop, let's just, look at the atmosphere tonight. It's incredible. Did you ever think, it's been a crazy year, let's face it, but did you ever think you would see Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., other than a video game?
Never, not in a million years, and I'm so happy that they both still able to perform.
I just want to, say thank you to Nate. He's the one that originally called me out. I respect him, and his boxing career, his basketball career has been amazing, and I don't want to take anything away from him. It takes a lot of balls to step in the ring. Not a lot of people can do that, and this means a lot to me. It just feels good to win.
You've trained for this, and this is what you want to do for a living. This is his first fight, and even though it's only your second fight, there seemed to be a big experience difference here tonight. Did you feel that?
Yeah, I've been training my ass off, for the past year. I'm taking this seriously. There's a long list of opponents that I want. Conor McGregor, Dylan Dennis. I'm going to knock them both out.
That's what you want to do next?
There's my brother. There's KSI on the line. Austin McBroom. I want to be in this sport for a long time, and I'm in love with this, so why not?
What made you decide that this is what you want to do?
For me, my whole life has been a fight. And so fighting, it's something I'm great at. Being from Ohio, a small town, and making my way out to Los Angeles to fame and success, and just fighting for everything. And people never believing in me, people hating me, being one of the most hated people in the world. I have to fight through that. It's not easy. And so for me, this is a perfect sport. I found my lane. You know, just 4 weeks ago, I was meditating, fell flat on my face, broke my nose, and we weren't able to spar until a couple days ago. So I had to come into this fight with a broken nose. So this
How do you fall on your face meditating?
I passed out. I was like, and I passed out on the concrete. It's on camera, boxing. I have a boxing documentary coming soon. So stay tuned for that. But now it's time to focus on my music. Park South Freestyle out now. Music video, go crazy.
Last thought here. Are you willing to be patient with this? I mean, you're a guy who has so much popularity. It's instant fame. You've catapulted. Are you willing to be patient with a boxing career? Because you can't do this overnight.
100%. I'm willing to be patient. I'm only 23 years old. Deontay Wilder started boxing when he was like 21. So I have a long future ahead, and I'm just getting started. And I talk a lot of shit, but I back it up. And, you know, actions speak louder than words.
Jake, congratulations.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Jim
your
Gray.
time.
He's a legend. Israel Adesanya, Izzy, what's up, boy?
All right, Mario. Mario.
The Colonel Bob Sheridan back here. Jake Paul, kind of a character. We'll take a look at the fight as it unfolded. I thought it was going to be more interesting than it was, but it eventually worked out that Nate Robinson, somebody coached him into, you know, throwing a punch and then hanging on, but he got hit in the back of the head in that first round and he went down. And then in the end, he got clipped real hard by that one to the temporal bone, and that was pretty much it. As you see the replay of this again, right there, he caught him, and that's all she wrote for Nate Robinson, who was eventually down 3 times in the first 2 rounds of the fight, leading to Jake Paul winning on a second round, a knockout. And you heard him when he talked to Jim Gray that he's real interested in being a fighter, knows he has to be patient, and so that's the situation. Well, it's getting ready and getting close towards main event time. And we're at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. This is the overview of the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles with nobody on the streets because of the COVID pandemic. There's very few people inside here, but you're going to see what you've been waiting for. This exhibition over 8 rounds, 8 2-minute rounds, and it's Mike Tyson against Roy Jones Jr. Well, Mike Tyson is 50-6, 2 no contests, 44 knockouts, while Roy Jones Jr. is 66-9. On the tail of the tape, Roy's an inch taller. Mike is about 10 pounds heavier. Mike is 3 years older, and Roy has 3 inches in reach advantage. So, a typical Mike Tyson style. And his Roy Jones arriving about an hour or so ago. Roy Jones in pretty good condition, a terrific guy, really solid friend of mine. He and I almost bought a Longhorn bull when we were doing a fight together in Corpus Christi, Texas. And here's Mike Tyson, another guy with his wife Kiki coming in. Mike has had 3 lives, you might say. The life with Customato and Jimmy Jacobs, and then the life rising to become the baddest man on the planet and undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and then his fall from grace. And then another rise in championships, and then a fall towards the end of his career. His last time he fought was in 2005 and he lost to Kevin McBride 15 years ago. And when I talked to Mike after that, he said, "Hey, Colonel," he said, "I can't beat this guy. It's time to hang him up." But he loves boxing. He's done color commentary with me several times on telecasts, and he gets so excited when he's watching a fight that he grab you by the neck and said, "Mike, take it easy. You know, I can't take your power." And Roy Jones Jr., a solid guy as well, and certainly on his way to Canastota as soon as he's got enough years out of the ring. But he's a former 4-division world champion. Jim Gray is going to do an interview here coming up, and we're going to get that momentarily for you. But, you know, we remember Mike Tyson as the beast and the fierce puncher, and we'll know in the first round of this fight just what he's going to do. Here's Jim Gray.
Roy Jones Jr. Roy, you've said this has been a bucket list fight for you. This is something you've been thinking about for a couple of decades, and now that it's here, Does it meet the same expectation level in your head as you had all those years?
It's cold in the house. You know how that go. Yes, it does meet the same expectations, that same level of expectations, because you know it's still Mike Tyson who can basically take you out with one punch. He can do anything to you with one punch. But so that's the fun about it, is that you got to go out there and beat him while you avoid that one punch, and that's what makes it so interesting.
And that may be the fun to you, but there are a lot of people who are concerned you're going to get caught by that one punch. Does it concern you?
I mean, it's always a concern because you don't want to get caught no more than you have to. And really, it's not getting caught by one punch, because you're going to get caught once or twice. It's boxing. So it's not the one that's going to do the damage. That's the one you got to make sure you avoid. And that's the one that I have to make sure that I avoid.
Roy, you're a younger man by 3 years, and you've been more active. Mike hasn't really fought in 15 years. You fought in 2018. Is there any advantage in that?
No, not really, because they put me in a cage, and it's like that ring is so small, it's like a cage for the bear. So it's like they're feeding you to the bear, you feel me? So that inactivity is not hard for him when he don't have to go, he don't have to move that much, you know what I mean? You don't have to travel that far, so that inactivity shouldn't bother him much at all. Maybe after about the third or fourth round it may, and if it does, then we'll be able to tell, because then I'll be able to do anything I want to do. So.
You've had a spectacular career. Mm-hmm. What are you trying to accomplish here?
I'm not trying to accomplish nothing. I just, like I said, when you are alive and God give you opportunity to give people entertainment at a time like this, and though it may, I mean, in the reality, in real life, yeah, it could cost you damage or it could cost you your life. But when it's for the people, people need something right now. We all got to be strong and try to help one another. And if I was somewhere at home with nothing to do, and Michael and Dominique was still able, somebody say, hey, Mike and Dominique gonna play a one-on-one for the fans because nobody has anything to look at. I'm like, yo, I gotta watch that, you know? So I'll be so happy that they're doing it. And they say, well, what if one of them accidentally has a heart attack because they're old? Well, I mean, I understand it, but if they're willing to play, I wanna watch, you know?
Mike, the last time we did this interview, you said, I don't have this in me anymore. I'm just not ferocious and I can't do it. What rekindled it since that 15 years ago against Kevin McBride?
Hey, listen, different things happened to me since then, and I got more determination into doing this, and I just don't believe this is happening, but I do. You know, I really do. And it's going to be very successful. The league that we have here, Mike Tyson Legends League only, and I'm looking forward for that to cultivate as well.
You lost 100 pounds.
Yes, I did.
How difficult was it to be that disciplined at age 54 to do this?
Well, I wanted to do it, and whatever I want to do, I do. You know, I'm like Alexander the Great. Impossible is nothing to anyone that tries. And that's what I believe.
What are you trying to accomplish tonight?
I'm just pushing myself. Whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it.
Okay.
You know, I would always, whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it. That's just what I do in my life. Whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it.
So you were afraid of this?
Absolutely. Why would I want to do this after 15 years? And then, you know, and I'm just comfortable being uncomfortable, I believe. I guess so.
And you can't play at boxing. I mean, it can say all at once that it's an exhibition, but in a few minutes, what really happens? I mean, you're going to try and knock this guy out, aren't you?
Well, I'm going to protect myself and throw punches with bad intentions at all time, as much as I can.
Final thought. We know your past is totally secure in boxing history. Are you fighting for your future?
No, I'm fighting for other people's future.
In what way?
It's in a humanitarian way. Our future, God willing, is pretty cool, you know. So I can help other people now.
Mike, best of luck. We'll talk to you afterwards.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you.
Always nice seeing you too. Go.
Goats.
Go.
All right. As you can see, a very different, very calm Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Typical Roy, very analytical. And, of course, nobody mentioned Roy's picking up $1 million, and golly knows what he's picking up. His next entertainer, Snoop Dogg and St. John.
It's a legendary shit. Oh, it sucks to me, cause I would've loved you. I watched the whole world burn to see you dance. Running through contests, jumping through bombshells. I thought we would die, grown, no holding hands. It sucks to be so they loved you. I watched the whole world but see you dead. Jump off a bombshell, running through cocktails, going with that, growing on holding hands. The story don't start on great. I'm a gorilla going name. I'm just a street nigga trying to make it to $1 million on the wrong ways. I'm running on the long place. Said I was born the wrong shape. I should have made it 5 years ago, but really, I was really born late. I used to carry sticks in my clothes. I carry work in my shoes. With all the poverty in life, it's not exceptional news. Running through this life to 21 and 22. Kyra helped me find a different point of view. Does she believe in me? Just keep on going. Just make sure when you get there, leave the door open. I said, you know who I am. Here from Brooklyn. I had a do you love me broken? It sucks to be. I want the whole world to see you dance. Nothing from God. You're running through hearts. It sucks to be. You're running through clouds. On a night like tonight, Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Only love a real nigga ever knew it. I tried. You came on from the man. No turning back. Only love a real nigga ever knew it. That's fact, that's fact. Really came on from the man. No turning back. Only love a real nigga ever knew it's trap. She do lick, she do one, I forget. She do coke, she do blow, she do dog, make a lick. This the life, don't forget. Sober nights, make it lit. She the one, you the one, I'm the one who the trick. I ain't never telling lies. Cross my heart and hope to die. If it's real, it's real forever. We'll never testify. Put the pedal to the floor. The devil in the eye. Tell me that you love me. Promise not to change your mind. We lie sleeping in the middle of tonight. The best turn loud. Turn on the light. Wish you fast for the winner. Wish you champagne on ice. Middle finger to the one. 1, 2, 3. I trap. You came on for the man. No turning back. Only love a real nigga ever knew was trap. That's fact, that's fact. Really came on for the man. No turning back. Only love a real nigga ever knew was.
Remix. Off the corner with the money, I got a verse. Cook that shit up, Quay. St. John, put on Hendrix.
Hey. I walked in the corner with the body screaming Dodo. Never sold it back, we look like Pablo in a photo. This gon' make him feel away like Tony Kimanolo. You already know though, see, you already know though. I walked in the corner with the money on my finger. She might get it poppin', I might wait before the winter. I already know, tell her Rose. All I need is 1, 2, 3, hey. You know how I get to live at night. Can't handle my behavior, too fast of my ass, the life don't last, I've been through it all. Fuck with a nigga raw, this who you want. And I know you won't tell nobody, no. And I know you won't tell nobody, no. I might pull up flexing on these niggas like a Robin. I might tell a girl you cute with a ball and that shit gorgeous. Standing on the table, rose, fuck the waters. You know who the 1, 2, 3, hey. You know how I get to live at night. Can't handle my behavior. Done been through it all. Fuck with a nigga raw. This who you wanna be. I might bring them Brooklyn niggas out on Lord of Service. I might bring them strippers out and tell them do it Paulus. You already know, nigga Rose. All I need is 1, 2, 3, yeah. You know how I get when I put on my mix to the rose.
It's the motherfucking Digo Double G. Da 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 da. You know I'm mobbing with the D-R-E. What the fuck is up, y'all? Everybody at the house right now, if you got some of that sticky, icky, you know what time it is. Blaze it up. Top dog, bottom all, nigga, burn this shit up. DP, GC, my nigga, turn this shit up. CPT, LBC, yeah, we looking back up. And when they bang this in the club, baby, you got to get up. Thug niggas, drug dealers, yeah, they giving it up. Long life, your life, boy, we living it up. Naked chances while we dancing in the party for show. Slip my hoe a 44 when she crept in the back door. These bitches looking at me strange, but you know I don't care. Step up in this motherfucker just to swing in my hair. Bitch, quit talking, crip walk if you down with the sick. Take a bullet with some dick and take this dope on this shit. Out of town, put it down for the father of rap. And if your ass get cracked, bitch, shut your trap. Come back, get back, that's the part of success. If you believe in the S, you be relieving the stress. Yes, sir. Triller. Pay-per-view. Big Snoop Dogg in your motherfucking house. Trip. We're gonna take it back to the heyday. Yeah. When Mike and Roy was doing they thing. Oh, yeah. Bang, bang.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some of that indigo G.
I like it.
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kinda hard being Snoop Digo Double G. But I somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky ass shit like every single day. Man, I kick a little something for the G's and make a few ends as I breeze through. It's 2 in the morning and the party still jumping cause my mama ain't home. I got bitches in the living room getting it on and they ain't leaving till 6 in the morning. So what you wanna do? Look, I got a pocket full of rubbers and my homeboys do too. So turn off the lights and close the doors. But what?
We don't love them hoes.
Yeah, so we gon' smoke an ounce to this. G's up, hold down while you motherfuckers bounce to this.
Rolling down the street, smoking down, sipping on gin and gills.
Laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
Rolling down the street, smoking down, sipping on gin and gills.
Laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. I've got me some Seagram gin. Everybody got their cups, but they ain't chipped in. Now this types of shit happens all the time. You gotta get yours before I gotta get mine. Everything is fine when you're listening to the D.O.G. I got the cultivating music that be captivating. He who listens to the words that I speak as I take me a drink to the middle of the street and get the back into this freak named Sadie. She used to be my homeboy's lady. Now it was 80 degrees when I told that bitch, please raise up off these NUTs, cause you get none of these at ease. As I mob with the dog pound, feel the breeze, and now you know I'm just
rolling down the street, smoking down, sipping on gin and gills.
Laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Rolling down the street,
smoking down, sipping on gin and gills.
Laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
Make some motherfucking noise.
West 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at your door. Ready to make an entrance, so back on up. Cause you know we about to rip shit up. Give me the microphone first so I can bust like a bubble. Compton and Long Beach together, now you know you in trouble. Cause ain't nothing but a G thing.
Baby.
Two low out niggas, so it's
crazy.
And Death Row is the label that
basement.
We unfadable, so please don't try to fade this. But back to the lecture at hand. Yeah. Perfection is perfected, so I'ma let them understand.
from a young G's perspective. And before me dig a bitch, I have to find a contraceptive. You never know, she could be earning her man and learning her man, and at the same time earning her man. Now you know I ain't with that shit, Lieutenant. Ain't no pussy good enough to get burned while I'm offended. Yeah. And that's realer than real deal, how we feel. And now you hookers and hoes know how I feel. Well, if it's good enough to give up a proper chunk, I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff. It's like this and like that and like this, and it's like that and like this and like that, and it's like this, and you know how it goes, so just chill to the next episode. Oh no, Big Snoop Dogg, back up in the easy, baby, you jocking my style. You so crazy, Dre say ain't no limit to this, as long as we drop gangsta shit. Now look here, bitch, you fine and I dig your style. Come fuck with a nigga, let me do it. Doggy style, I'll be gentle, sentimental. Shit, we fucked in the rental, Lincoln, Continental, coast to coast, LA to Chicago. I get the pussy everywhere that I go. Ask the bitches in your hood 'cause they know. I get the pussy everywhere that I go. Ask the bitches in your hood 'cause they know. When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot. And if a nigga get an attitude, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot. I got the rollie on my arm and I'm pouring Sean Dawn, and I roll the best weed 'cause I got it going on. See, I'm a gangster, but y'all knew that. The big boss dog, yeah, I had to do that. I keep a blue flag hanging on my backside, but only on the left side. Yeah, that's the Crip side. See, ain't no other way to play the game the way I play. I cut so much you thought I was a DJ. 2, yippee, 1, yep, 3. SNOOP. No double G. I can't fake it, just break it. See, wanna take it. See, I specialize in making all the girls get naked. So bring your friends, all of y'all come inside. We got a world premiere right here, now get live. So don't change the diesel, turn it up a little. I got a living room full of fine dime bristles. They waiting on the pizzle, the dizzle, and the shizzle. G's to the Bizac, now ladies, here we kizzle. When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot. What if a nigga get an attitude? Pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot. I got the rollie on my arm and I'm pouring Sean Dawn, and I roll the best weed 'cause I got it going on. I'm a bad boy with a lot of hoes. Drive my own cars, wear my own clothes. I hang out tough, I'm a real boss. Big Snoop Dogg, yeah, he's so short. I'm on the TV screen and in the magazines. And if you play me close, you want a red beam. Oh, you got a gun, so you wanna pop back? AK-47 now, nigga, stop that. Cement shoes, I'm on the move. Your family's crying and now you on the news. They can't to twist you, pistol whip you, dip you, flip you, then dance to this motherfucking music we crypto. Subscribe, nigga, get your issue. Baby, come close, let me see how you get loose. When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot. What if a nigga get an attitude? Pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot. Well, somebody smoke that shit, it's time to smoke. Yeah. Well, all right, you squares, it's time to smoke. Say it again. All right, you squares, it's time to smoke. Snoop. That one was for your mama right there, because I know she loved me, and I love your mama back. Fuck them other niggas, cuz. Sucker ass niggas talking that shit. Y'all ready for the big fight? Make some motherfucking noise if you ready for Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Let's go! Bitch, I'm down with no limit. I ride for the cause. I'm the nigga on the tank with the big fucking balls. And if anybody fuck with Snoop Doggy Dogg, I'ma make his niggas put his name on the wall.
From the shadows of Hollywood, California, to the world, Snoop Doggy Dogg entertaining to say the least. Well, it's that time, folks. This is why you bought this. We're in the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, for the main event of the evening. It's an 8-round heavyweight battle, 2-minute rounds for the WBC Frontline Championship. What's that? Well, that's a belt that they came up with in the WBC to keep it interesting for the fighters to have something to fight for. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. is coming right up next. You waited a long time to see this. Anticipation all around the world from every place that I've talked to this week, from New Zealand, Australia, over to Europe, that people are really anticipating this fight. It's on a holiday weekend here in the United States, and people are excited to see, will it be the fierce Mike Tyson that took out so many guys in the early rounds against Roy Jones Jr., who was a consummate, very quick in his prime, master boxer who fought just a couple of years ago. He's a 4-division world champion, super middleweight, light heavyweight, middleweight, and then he even went up in 2005 and took the heavyweight title from John Ruiz. Ring Magazine Fight of the Year in 1994, Boxing Writers Fight of the Year, and Fighter of the Decade in the 90s. That's Roy Jones Jr. We'll know right away how fierce Mike Tyson is, what this is going to be. All right, so very, very shortly, our ring announcer, and it will be Michael Buffer now, who's here for the main event. We'll be introducing our fighters, and we'll have the International Boxing Hall of Famer against the future Hall of Famer in Roy Jones Jr. It's Triller, streaming worldwide. Hope wherever you are that you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, and this is what you really want to see. Mike Tyson, how fierce, how ferocious will he be? Will he really let it go? If you saw the interview with Jim Gray, he said, boy, I'm nervous, he said, anytime you get in the ring. But in reality, Mike Tyson loves boxing. He loves the fight, and he's going to love the moment that he's back in the ring with Roy Jones Jr. There's a lot of money involved in this fight tonight. I know Roy's making $1 million, and depending on the pay-per-view sales, Mike Tyson stands to make much more than $1 million for this fight. Well, Mike had his ups and downs in his career. After the loss of Customato and Jimmy Jacobs, his life spiraled out of control, and he lost that big fight to Buster Douglas, one of the upsets in the biggest upsets in the history of boxing, that fight in Tokyo. But after that, he had to come up again, and he really, when he married Kiki, his life turned around completely, and he's very, very happy and a very charitable guy. You heard him mention the charities that he's involved with. I know of one guy, used to be a Showtime photographer who came upon hard times with illness. His name is Tom Casino, and Tom told me when I talked to him a short time ago, asking him how he's getting by, he said, you know who helps me more than anybody? Mike Tyson. So these are things that Mike Tyson does behind the scene, and really, really in this day and age, a terrific guy. I've been friendly with him for a lot of years, so it's real exciting for me to have the opportunity to see this guy crash back into action for whatever it is. And like I said, we'll know almost immediately if Mike comes out winging those hooks and throwing punches real hard, as you see Michael Buffer getting ready to do the announcement to get this show underway and introduce the fighters. Roy Jones Jr., a very likable guy in a different way, a ring technician his whole career. He had an extensive amateur career, and he was robbed in the '88 Olympics in Seoul for the gold. By the way, if you haven't heard how bad that decision was, following that decision, all of the judges were suspended that judged that fight. And after doing the Seoul fight for the CBC, I said, that's it. I'm done with amateur boxing. It wasn't amateur boxing's fault, but seeing that terrible decision really got me out of amateur boxing, and I'm kind of sorry for that as it goes down, but that's the way it was. We're going to take a look at the weigh-in yesterday as the international television is all getting hooked up and coordinated here. We have a little bit of time. Is Roy Jones Jr., who scales it at 210 pounds. wearing the masks, of course, as everyone was doing in the hotel here. And here they are in the face-off, and there's a protective glass between them. Mike in pretty good shape for a guy of 54 years old and a guy that lost 100 pounds. And by the looks on their faces, no smiles. It's all business. And you'll wonder just how much all business. And you'll know right away in the first few seconds of the fight whether Mike Tyson has come to fight, or in the last exhibition he had against Corey Sanders, which was an exhibition in Youngstown, Ohio several years ago, which really was a lackluster fight and a lackluster performance all the way around. It was not even a glorified sparring session. It was just a sparring session at all. So, again, we're in a holding pattern here till all the networks get everything together, and we'll have this fight underway for you momentarily. If you are just joining us for this fight, we can take another look at the tail of the tape, and it'll tell you a few things. You'll see, again, that the age difference, 3 years older is Mike Tyson, and he hasn't been in the ring for 15 years. Roy Jones Jr. was in the ring a couple of years ago when he had that win over Scott Sigmund in Pensacola, Florida, so he might be a little bit fresher. He's also 3 years younger at 51. Roy Jones is an inch taller. Mike Tyson is a little over 10 pounds heavier. And the reach goes to Roy Jones Jr., which he can certainly use the way he jabs. So we mentioned that the last fight for Mike Tyson was in 2005 when he lost to Kevin McBride. That was 15 years ago. Mike turned pro, as you know, at 18 years old and became the youngest heavyweight champion of all time when he stopped Trevor Berbick for the WBC title in 1986. And during those days, he was unbelievable. He'd come along and stop Leon Spink's brother, Michael Spinks, in 90 seconds of their fight, and it just seemed that there was no end to it. The rules are kind of interesting that they have for this fight. You take a look at this. This is going to be 2-minute rounds. They're wearing 12-ounce gloves. And there's going to be no official winner announced because the scoring is not going to be by judges. No official scoring and no pro judges. And 3 former champions are going to score the fight. And they're going to do it remotely. And those judges are champion Chad Dawson, Christy Martin, who's going into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, one of the first ladies to do that, and Vinny Pazienza, who was certainly an interesting guy in his career. Overall, the winners will score each round, and it's based on technique, ring generalship, overall conditioning, and fair play and sportsmanship. Good luck in doing that. Dominating style and entertainment of the fight. I'll be scoring the fight just like I'd score any fight, and we'll see how we end up at the end of the fight, if in fact it goes the distance. So that's the situation. That's the scoring situation. And other than that, there'll be no standing 8 count. There'll be no 3 knockdown rule. And the fighter can't be saved by the bell in any round except the final round. And again, here the referee or the doctor can stop the fight. The referee for this fight will be Ray Corona, who's an excellent referee here in the state of California Athletic Commission. So again, there's a reason for this hold, and it's some of the networks around the world. A lot of foreign broadcasters are here. Triller, who's streaming it around the world live, is involved in this. And of course, Mike Tyson's own promotional company is very heavily involved with this and what's to come up in the future. So again, once we have the fighters and they're ready to make their individual ways into the ring, we'll get this one underway for you very, very shortly. I see that Michael Byfar has made his way into the ring, and we want to thank everybody that's been involved on our side over here. Nobu Ikushima and Tammy Kotel, Nobu of Tiken in Japan, helped us with the statistics, and Billy Sherry, our audio guy and stage manager, has done a terrific job throughout the course of the evening, and we thank you one and all for helping us get ready to call this fight. It's Mike Tyson's Legends Only League, bringing this fight to you around the world. And there is, as I mentioned, because of the amount of radio interviews I did this week, countries all over the world that are extremely, extremely interested in this fight, and we'll have it underway for you very, very shortly. And in case you just joined us for this fight and didn't see the other fights this evening, as we wait for Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., I can tell you in our first fight, Jermaine Ortiz scored a 7th-round TKO over Suleiman Segawa. Badou Jack stopped Blake McKinnon in a unanimous decision. McKinnon, the Army veteran, went all the way. And Jake Paul actually did stop Nate Robinson in the 2nd-round KO in that fight. But this is what we have coming up from you live. And it's coming up to you live from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, USA. I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan, and as you can see, we're in a bit of a holding pattern, but we'll have this underway for you very shortly. So wherever you are around the world, get ready for action, because this is the main event of the evening. Now, Mike Tyson said he trained for this fight because he wanted to get himself back in shape. He wanted to try to turn it around one more time. But in reality, I know Mike, he loves the action. He loves boxing. He absolutely loves this sport. And as I say that, I see Roy Jones Jr. making his way in, and he loves the sport himself. In his prime, very quick, a master boxer. Fought a couple of years ago, so he may have that advantage. To be in great shape. The reason he'll be in good shape is because he never abused his body during his career. Always stayed in shape. You know, he was a 4-division world champion and the first guy in 100 years to go all the way from middleweight to heavyweight when he beat John Ruiz. But with that said, he was the Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year in 1994, the Boxing Writers Fighter of the Decade in the 90s. Roy had that great amateur career, which culminated by getting robbed of the gold medal in the '88 Olympics. He won his first world title, beating Bernard Hopkins for the middleweight title of the IBF championship. And you know the boxing style of Roy Jones Jr., great hand speed, quickness, reflexes, ring IQ, fantastic hooks. In his prime, he could land 5 hooks in a row. They used to call him Dr. Hook. His last loss came at the hands of Enzo Maccarinelli. That was in Moscow. He got stopped in that fight in December of 2015. So it won't be long now, folks. They're telling me Michael Buffer's coming up very, very shortly to do the introduction of Roy Jones Jr.
Stand by, sir.
Oh, you saw Michael Buffer move in there, and I think that we are set to go now. Everything seems to be coordinated with all the countries that are involved in this telecast. And once again, we're at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan, and glad that you can be with us for this one. It's a much-anticipated fight between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Here's Michael Buffer now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've been waiting for. 2 legends in one ring. Coming to the ring first, the 6-time world champion, Roy Jones Jr.
All right, so Roy Jones makes his way in. Roy was a classic boxer in his prime. In the 90s, he dominated the entire decade. Middleweight, light heavyweight, went all the way up to heavyweight. Here's Roy, makes his home in his ranch in Pensacola, Florida. He'll be going from Pensacola right to Canastota in the International Boxing Hall of Fame as soon as he's eligible. Weigh-in yesterday, you could see he was in good shape. I wouldn't say he looked in peak shape like he did when he was fighting a few years ago. But Roy Jones Jr. is 51 years of age. Here he is in the ring, Roy Jones. Roy's strategy tonight has got to be to box and move, slide. Great guy for setting traps in the ring. Try to keep Tyson off him. Avoid the big shot. Roy Jones is all business for this fight. And here's Michael.
And now making his entrance to the ring, the former two-time heavyweight world champion, Iron Mike Tyson!
So Mike makes his way out. He absolutely loves this. Look at that. He's wearing his black shorts. That's Mike Tyson. Remember, he used to come in with just that towel cut over his head. Now he's got the cap, the shirt with Brownsville on it. That's where he was brought up in Brooklyn, New York. And he's got the shorts he used to wear when he first started. Said Mike lost over 100 pounds to get ready in the past several months to get ready for this fight. And why did he do it? Because he wanted to do it. He wanted to get himself in shape to fight. And while you'll see he's not in the peak shape we used to see with that cut body, the last thing to go for a heavyweight is his punch. Whether he throws it with malice or forethought against Roy Jones Jr., we'll find out real early in the going. So we're just about set to go. Third man in the ring, Ray Corona. Here's Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem will be performed by our special guest, the Grammy Award-winning international recording superstar, singer, actor, producer, Neo.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
From Staples Center, Los Angeles, California, USA, CES Boxing proudly presents the main event of the evening. 8 two-minute rounds of heavyweight boxing, featuring two of the greatest names in the history of the sport, as Triller brings us Tyson Jones, sanctioned by the California State Boxing Commission, Chairman John Carvelli, Executive Officer Andy Foster. The World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Sulaiman, has assigned 3 former world champions to unofficially score this matchup. They are Chad Dawson, Christy Martin, and Vinny Paz, aka Vinny Pazienza. The referee in charge of the action will be Ray Corona. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the officials are ready. The fighters are in the ring, and they are ready. So for the millions tuned in watching this live, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the black corner, wearing white and purple with gold, official weight 210 pounds. In 75 career fights, he has 66 victories, including 47 big wins by knockout. He's recognized as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in boxing history. From Pensacola, Florida, USA, the former middleweight world champion, former super middleweight world champion, the 2-time light heavyweight world champion, former WBU cruiserweight world champion, and the former heavyweight champion of the world, the future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr. And across the ring, fighting out of the white corner, wearing his traditional black and officially weighing in at 220.4 pounds. In his career of 56 fights, he has 50 victories, including 44 knockouts. He was universally recognized as the baddest man on the planet. From Brownsville and the Catskills and Henderson, Nevada, USA, he is from the from the International Boxing Hall of Fame, presenting one of the most devastating heavyweight KO punchers of all times, the 2-time heavyweight world champion, former undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
Let's go, fighters, 2 seconds. All right, gentlemen, I gave you the rules in there. 2 legends. Let's give them a good show. Touch gloves if you want.
Ooh. November 28, 2020. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
Man, you can feel the tension in this room. It's palpable.
8 two-minute rounds sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission.
Are you ready?
Bell in round 1, Ray Corona with a, well, pivotal task. The referee will have to really be on the ball. Mike Tyson expecting to come out as fast as possible.
You see what Roy's doing now?
Roy dance.
Roy has to do that the whole time.
Shit, go ahead, Roy.
Mike Tyson with a cavalcade of first-round knockouts, going to the liver and upstairs with that left hook, and there's a little of that bobbin weaving, of course, Customato, teaching him the early intricacies of boxing, and Mike Tyson all over Roy Jones Jr. Snoop.
This shit like 2 of my uncles fighting at the barbecue. Get your uncle out of there. Get him out. You go meet me in the backyard. I'm tired of this shit. Come on. Meet me back here, huh? Get up in there, Roy. Shit, in and out.
12-ounce gloves. Not the normal 10-ounce gloves, Israel. They will blunt a little bit of the offense.
Hold on to him, Roy. Hold on to him. Don't take that. Get out of there. Them tender now. Them ribs is tenderoni. Back up.
Already a minute gone. Again, just 2-minute rounds. Mike Tyson coming forward.
Boy, look at my uncles. Look at him. Look at my uncles out there fighting in the backyard. Stop. Back up.
Hey, he big as hell. I got hold of him.
Roy Jones Jr. We're talking. The referee says, "Give me first. I gotta hold him."
He said he's bringing his hand. I gotta hold it. You gotta protect yourself. Get out of there, Roy. You still got it.
Well, there's a double, triple jab with Mike Tyson. Tyson trained with famed MMA trainer, and I know Izzy, you know him very well, Rafael Cordero. And Cordero said he had to end up having shoulder surgery just holding the pads for Tyson.
Definitely, I can imagine that.
Power. That's power. Okay. Come on, Roy. Box.
Roy's trying to make him run into that right hand.
That's what he wanted him to do?
Yes. With that jab.
So he put the jab out there to get that right to commit, huh?
Exactly.
The style of fighting of Roy Jones Jr. It does not conducive to older age, but Mike Tyson really taking the opening round.
That was a good round. Look at the champ. You don't even want to sit down. Stay up there, Mike.
So he's sitting down.
Have a seat, man.
Oh, he gonna sit down.
Take advantage of that.
Have a seat. Breathe and relax. Beautiful. Beautiful, Mike. Man. Fucking beautiful. Where's the bucket, coach?
Roy can't beat
There you go.
Mike Tyson inside like that.
No.
He needs to stay mobile.
Yes.
Double jab everything. Double jab everything. He's a player for you. He changes.
Yes. Breathe and relax.
Grab the bucket. And then you're gonna catch him.
Yes.
He's already tired. All right? Come back with a shot. Like make them little turns shorter and then come right back with stuff, okay? You can see his stuff coming. You see it. Come with deep breath. Deep breath.
There, the breathing is already heavy, Snoop.
He said, you can see it coming. He said, yes, somewhat.
He's right. You got it. You got it.
Yeah, he telling the truth. Tell it like it is and not like it was, huh?
Amen. Round number 2. And Mike Tyson explodes and delivers a left to the body and the left hook upstairs. And Roy Jones Jr., you know, he talked about facing Anderson Silva, the MMA legend. Is he's trying to turn this into a wrestling match.
Yeah, go ahead, Roy. Look at Roy got technique. Roy got
he better be careful there.
He's doing the right thing, but he needs to get out of there.
Yeah, because he's going to make Mike mad. He's going to go back to 80-something on him.
Mike Tyson used to be a vegan. Evander Holyfield wishes he was on that night in 97 as Tyson, though, coming forward remains. Just blocked Roy Jones with that left hand, and Jones shook it off.
Roy, ask him, Lord.
Trying to turn back the clock one more time.
Shit, mix it up, Roy. You ain't come here to play. It's your money.
Father Time undefeated. These two way past their primes, but looking for just something looking to entertain at least.
He can't let Mike get settled
with the right hand.
That was a move and a half. He went real low. That was a low rider move right there. He dropped down to the floor on it. Oh, get out of there, Roy. Get the ribs out of there. They're going to be soloing. Get them out of there.
Israel, what do you think of Roy Jones Jr. tactics here?
I think he's trying to get Mike tired by grappling with him, making him feel his weight, making him frustrated as well, so that way he can make a mistake. But, man, you don't want to make Mike mad.
You got to keep them ribs off that barbecue grill because they will be sauteed, man.
Under 30 seconds left here in the second round. Tyson digging to the body momentarily, but they might need oxygen in between rounds here as they are just leaning on each other. And again, let's not
go ahead, Roy. Get smart
Roy that clipped him with
go
a
ahead,
left.
Roy. Get smart. Look at him. Look at Uncle Roy. Oh, Roy. Get him, Roy.
Use that jab. Mike's yes, Mike.
Double left.
Get out of there.
And yet Jones
That's not good.
Whoa, after the bell.
Ding, ding.
There's a new Mike Tyson.
Yeah, the nice
Mike Tyson. Oh, wow.
That's called maturity.
Yeah, amen.
Say that. Growth and development. Say that.
Man, testify, bro.
Yes, Lord.
Just keep that fucking 7 going. Keep that 7 going.
I like that round. They was mixing it up real good. I like that.
Right here, Mike.
Because you put the pressure already. Your jab is there. Can you imagine one more jab? Double. Can you imagine the third jab?
Breathe a little bit, fellas. Breathe a little bit.
1, 2, and 3. And then you put that bomb.
And you're hearing the voice of Rafael Cordero, responsible for honing some of the skills of some of the greatest MMA strikers ever, including Evander Silva. There's Jones.
Get off, Roy, with the no look.
Hit him with the dart and then escape. Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake.
Get out of there. Just get out of there.
That's the Roy I love right there. The no look.
All right. Jones appears to be breathing a little laboriously, but Mike Tyson appears to be okay. Now comes out, moving the head a bit, trying to walk down. Jones lands the left.
This is where conditioning comes into play. Ooh, beautiful footwork from Mike Tyson.
See, Mike do it. He fainting him now. He fainting him now. He just not walking in straight. He giving him some head fakes, some leg movements.
Ooh, low output.
Good combination.
Yep.
Again, the left hand, and referee Corona walking and watching, and again, Roy Jones Jr. just trying to keep it close, trying to wear down Mike Tyson potentially, and
Roy's getting the better of the inside fighting at the moment.
He's smart. He's smart. That's a veteran fighter right there that knows how to wrap up and not take no big hits, but keep it in tight like that.
But is it entertaining and exciting for the viewing public at home, Snoop? I know it's smart.
But normally when Mike Tyson fights, he fights tall guys, big guys.
Oh, we got a headbutt.
You got guys. Now Roy's like his same height.
Right.
And we've had an accidental headbutt. I heard that potentially if there was a cut, that the Ray Corona may be looking to stop it, but this so far so good here in terms of, I don't think there was a cut, obviously.
It's too good to stop.
Yeah, can't stop this because of a cut.
What you just boxing? Put some Vaseline on that thing and keep it moving.
Hey, some Lysol.
Use that adrenaline. Oh, and there's an exchange.
A great exchange from two legends right there.
Speaking of legends, very proud to have Snoop Dogg on the broadcast as a big fan, and you're breaking it down for us, brother.
Hey, man, this is what I love. I love watching boxing. I love to be able to talk about it and be about it at the same time.
Oh, and Jones avoids that punch by Tyson.
Get you some points.
He's trying to frustrate. He's trying to frustrate. Yes, exactly. He needs to let his hands go.
Right, that's how you get points, right?
Absolutely. But you gotta be careful with those hands down.
Wise man once said, if you don't have any expectations, you will never be disappointed, and we need to temper our expectations in terms of what we will see tonight, Snoop.
Well, you know, I'm so happy that I'm seeing these guys still have it, like still have the punches, still have the awareness and the know-how and the smarts inside the ring. They may not have the same velocity or the same speed, but they still got that know-how.
Yeah, they got the mind, but sometimes the body doesn't do what the mind says, right, Israel?
Definitely. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so far. They're very competitive. Good fight so far. And we still have a few rounds left.
Feint it and do it off. Listen. Even do it off a feint and switch and throw the
yeah, there you go. That one hand, but you got to put some body behind that one hand because you ain't doing nothing.
And he has to frustrate Mike.
Get your deep breath.
Do he really want to frustrate Mike?
I think Mike's there already.
I'm saying, he's already across from you.
All right,
Of course, Mike Tyson would love to deliver that patented right hook to the body, followed by the right uppercut. Has done so much damage over the years, and Tyson attacking Jones.
Oh, you mean the one he used to do on the Mike Tyson punch-out video?
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
And he's done it in a few fights as well, as he is, I mean, that uppercut, and Jones had a very good uppercut in the day, and Jones trying to utilize the footwork, the speed, obviously nowhere close to where it was in his prime, but Jones trying to deke and juke here.
What Roy Jones is doing is really trying to frustrate him, but Tyson cuts the corner off.
Yeah, he does.
Cuts the ring, yes.
Bulldog.
But that's what he has to be.
Well, I feel like I'm back in my days as a pro wrestling announcer with some of this grappling, maybe a little Muay Thai, almost a Thai plum there, Izzy.
Yeah, this is some Muay Thai.
Ain't nobody punking out in here. No, you hit me, I'm hitting you back. I like this. This is what I like. My uncles is getting it in. Grandma will have to break this up. Grandma, they out there fighting again.
Referee Ray Corona warning Roy Jones Jr. for holding.
You know the punch, that Mike throws, that hook to the body and then uppercut?
The short one.
The short one. That will be effective.
Here's our unofficial scoring by the former champions.
I'm really impressed with Mike's fitness.
Oh, right into the body, another body shot. Jones winces, and the veteran Jones hanging on now.
That's the shot.
Yeah, that's the thought.
Looking for the money shot.
Using strength, yes.
That was beautiful.
20 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, 20 seconds left in the first half of this 8-round fight. Again, only 2-minute rounds.
Get off there, Roy. Get off.
He's working the body.
Roy Jones. And what he keeps doing to get away with it, he'll tie one hand, punch with the other, then swap around and tie with the other hand, and then keep punching.
See, but only a veteran would be able to do something like that against Mike Tyson.
That's crafty.
We have WBC former champion judges on hand tonight, of course. Chad Dawson, Christy Martin, and Vinny Pazienza. Pazienza, by the way, infamous for not landing a punch against Roy Jones in the 4th round in their fight.
That was the first time in history.
Guys, tell me something. Does Roy look tired to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Out of the two fighters, definitely Mike is in the better shape so far. Because you can see the way he's breathing.
He's exhausted. The body language says it all.
100%.
And again, when we're talking, and I don't want to beat the horse here, guys, but 2 over 50-year-olds, what do you expect in terms of conditioning and stuff?
Well, I know how I am on the basketball court. In my early days, I could play like 5 or 6 games. Now I can only play 1 game of 21.
No, Roy, he's
Come
not.
on, 2 legends, man. Let's look sharp out there.
He's not looking as confident.
Oh, the referee encouraging them. 2 legends. Let's look sharp out there. Well, there's a sharp shot by Mike Tyson, the sharpshooter in this fight. But
there you go.
Protect yourself, Roy. Protect yourself. That's still Mike Tyson.
and Tyson avoids that punch.
Lord, don't let him have a flashback. Precious Lord, please don't let him have a flashback.
Coming up on the midpoint of round 5, and again, rattling Roy Jones. Jones ducking down and just wants to close the gap, wants to clinch here, is he? And Tyson wants to create some separation.
Roy got it. We're keeping it gangster right now. Go ahead, Roy.
Oh, there you go.
It's just conditioning. That's the only thing he's just leaking in his conditioning.
Well, Ray, we talked about it. There's a difference between being in physical shape, cosmetic shape. Tyson looked great on the pads over 100-pound weight loss, but fighting shape is another thing. And here they are, last minute of the 5th. They're heading to 10 minutes already of action, and that may not be saying a lot, but it is a lot, Izzy. It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, definitely.
It takes a great deal.
With another man, his weight on you. When he has him on
there's that right hand by Tyson.
That was a shot. That was a
Mike Tyson picking off Roy Jones Jr. There's that no-look jab by Roy Jones Jr.
Roy trying to get out of there, though. Get out of there, Roy. Get out of there,
Hitting him on the ropes, and there again, the veteran move by Jones. I don't want any more of this. Mike Tyson
is out there fighting right now. They fighting like men. I like that. They fighting like grown men.
Take a step back.
Kids at home, y'all watch this. This is 2 grown men fighting right here. This is how you handle your business.
Tyson Mike Tyson trying to deliver, and Jones hooked.
Way to stay down, Roy. Way to stay down, Roy. Shit.
Stand your ground.
He in there with the champ, man. He's squabbling. No, you ain't bleeding, Roy. He just roll up a little bit.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Man, when
What round is this?
This is 6, right?
what round is it?
You good?
I think Roy's starting to feel the pressure of the moment.
Good, Roy? Yeah, I'm good, bro.
That's the champ over there.
Yeah, man.
He done came out his shell. Them punches starting to add up.
He still got it.
And of course, Jones, a former 4-division champion, made history. Again, guys, he weighed 193 pounds when he defeated John Ruiz for the heavyweight title. Old school. Rocky Marciano did it.
More of a light heavyweight than a real natural heavyweight to me.
Exactly. Well, he was, moved down to face Antonio Tarver after he called up Mike Tyson 17 years ago.
Good, man. Let's go.
That was then, but this is now. And we're in round number 6, scheduled for 8 in this boxing exhibition.
Looked like Mike got him in range right now. He did finally sized him up and got him right in his range where he wanted him at.
And of course, no surprise, the punch stats a shell of what they were in their prime. But Tyson, left hook just on the bell line.
Man, Roy would not allow Mike to run a combination on him. Every time he get ready to run a combination, he'd lock him up.
And he should.
But he's smart enough to know that.
If he
I like them jab combinations that he used to run off in the 90s. He just put them on Mike right now.
Are you guys?
Ain't that right, Elon? I'm farting right now. That's how bored I am. Trey's about to get zipped, bro. It might get zipped. Is it 2-0? It's 2-0 right now. Oh my god. I'm gonna record the last one, alright? Oh shit, bro, I wasn't recording this whole time. I'm kidding. if I ever do that, I think we'll cry. That'd be terrible. Reenacting everything would be so bad. What, Trey, you're off, but what is wrong with you? Trey, bro, I thought you killed clicks and fucking sway. Trey, when you watch this video, I just want to let you know he had 47 health.
I'm liking the competition today. My members are showing out right now, and I'm liking it. I'm really impressed by Slaves because I really be shitting on Slaves like all the time, and like the fact that he really be showing out, and like I'm really glad of his improvement. He still can't beat me though, but like he's okay.
Have those keys to victory. 30 seconds, and again,
Guys,
battering the body.
That was straight right there. That was straight.
being inactive for a couple years or 15 years, it's not easy coming back.
15 years after Mike Tyson quit on his stool, nearly 3 years after Roy Jones Jr. extended his win streak to 4 years, they are going to go the distance in this 8-round exhibition.
Hats off to both men, though. 51 years old, 54 years old, coming in here.
I have respect for them just getting in the ring. And again, we needed to temper expectations. The exhibition is over. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr.
Still on.
Giving us 16 minutes.
Mike wants some more. He mad now.
The beast is awoken, man.
Yeah, that's what it
the
is.
God of Wars have summoned him.
So, Israel, it was an exhibition. Obviously, we don't want to expect too much, but what did you think of what you saw?
I loved it. I love the fact that they were able to stay competitive the whole way. Roy using his craftiness with the grappling, with tying up the hands, getting Mike frustrated, and Mike able to still break loose with his head movement, miss shots and make him pay. Classic.
Ray, do you want to come back?
Do I want to come back?
64, you look like you're 34.
No, if I could fight you.
Oh, let's go. Give him the smoke, Ray.
Snoop Dogg, the referee. All seriousness, Ray, what do you think of what we witnessed tonight?
No, I mean, look, the guys are 54 years and 51. I mean,
Snoop, did it deliver what you expected?
Hey, man, when I was a kid, 54 and 51 was old men with rocking chairs. So to see them out there doing their thing, that was a lot to aspire to. I'm so honored to be here to see it. I know both of these guys personally, and thank you, champs, both of y'all. Y'all did great tonight.
And a pleasure for you to bring the entertainment, my man, dropping the knowledge, and such a pleasure here tonight as Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr.
Yes, sir.
Sharing the ring in the year of our Lord, 2020.
Yes, sir.
2020.
Mauricio Suleiman is going to present both with the frontline battle belts again. No official decision, but WBC will announce a winner, if there is one. And I believe Mike Tyson should get the decision, right, Snoop?
Yeah, he did that. He outworked Roy, but Roy fought a great fight, and he did his thing, took some big shots, and he gave a lot of great shots tonight. I like the way he moved around. Like you said, he was crafty, he was sharp, he was woody. He showed us signs of the old Roy Jones Jr. tonight.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great night of sports and entertainment, courtesy of GES Boxing and Triller, with our broadcast team anchored by Mario Lopez, with UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya, sports broadcast star Mauro Ronaldo, 6-time world champion Hall of Fame legend Sugar Ray Leonard, and a little help from Mr. Snoop Dogg, plus International Boxing Hall of Famer Jim Gray. And Jim Gray will be with our two superstars here in the ring in just a few moments, discussing the WBC's scoring and opinions on this fight. And we'll see how they saw it. So, ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We've got more coming.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We fighters do.
They did that. I'm proud of them.
You just don't know until you get into that ring. You can look great in the gym. You get into that ring, it's a whole different animal.
But it's not like sparring, right? Because the guy you're sparring with kind of like you. He's your friend. He can't hit you too hard because you may not pay him. But that guy across the ring right now.
Oh, come on. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we can book you and Snoop for WrestleMania, maybe.
Wrestle?
Come on. A little wrestling.
You wrestle?
We had a little wrestling.
We go tag team. Me and Sugar Ray go tag team.
Yeah.
I handle the first 4 minutes.
I'll take over.
Do you still stay in the gym, Ray? Are you still in the gym?
I see her on Instagram. Ray's still getting it, man. He's still getting it.
That's what keeps me going, man.
Right. Keep you sharp.
Keep me sharp, exactly.
Stay focused.
I love the feeling right now they will both be feeling is relief, a sense of relief, like, yeah, we did that.
Right.
I know that feeling. Right after a fight, whether win or lose, you just have the sense of like, yes, we did that. And man, like I said, hats off to these two gentlemen, because that was epic. Even though it wasn't of old, for me just to see this nostalgic and be here with all y'all,
Hats off to you,
Classic.
brother. Is this your first time doing fight commentary?
Yeah. Oh man, I'm a virgin at this.
Amen.
Not anymore.
Amen. Very
That's
good
what
job.
she said.
Oh, what a night! This is going down in the annals, my man. 34 years doing this. I don't know if I'll ever have another night like this.
No, that's a classic, man. It's a classic.
Yeah, it is.
Instantly.
Man. Shout out to the people that put this together, man. All of the great minds, the people behind the scenes. They don't ever get no credit, so we want to give them a shout out right now.
And what about the marriage of hip hop and boxing? I mean, real deal Holyfield, Mr.
We've been together.
Snoop.
We've been married. You know what I'm saying? It just so happens that it's just finally being able to be, broadcast and highly touted and being able to, bring both worlds together. Because we've always been complimentary. Every time a fight happens, we usually perform and we usually at the fight watching the fighters.
Absolutely, yes.
All
That's
right.
what it's about.
Thank you, Snoop. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, Morrow, thank you very much. Well, the scorecards of this exhibition, according to the former WBC world champions, is a draw. Mr. Tyson, what do you think of that?
Okay, I'm good with that.
You think you won the fight?
Yeah, but I'm good with a draw.
Why?
Because I entertained the crowd. The crowd was happy with it.
We'll be back to you in a second. You happy with this draw?
Hell no, I ain't never satisfied with a draw. I wear draws. I don't do draws. I like it. But the dude is so strong, man. And I understand why they say some things are bucket list. Because when he hits you, if it's his head, his punches, his body shots, don't matter. Everything hurts. So for me, I thought I did enough boxing on the outside to edge it out. But, I'm cool with a draw. I mean, we just might have to try to do it again. But I don't know.
You looked exhausted for a little while. Did the body shots take a toll?
The body shots definitely took a toll. The body shots are what make you exhausted. Any good fighter knows that. And I knew it too. I thought I had a 6-pack that was all right, but I guess I'm going to give me a 12-pack. Because this 6 ain't getting it.
It came back like nothing. You took it. You took it. I knew I hit you with a good shot. You took it. You took it. I respect that. I respect that.
Mike, at age 54, you haven't been in the ring for 15 years. How would you assess your performance, your stamina, and overall how you perform?
Well, I'm used to doing it for 3 minutes, and sometimes that 2 minutes felt like 3 minutes. And I'm just happy I got this under my belt, and I'm continuing to go further and do more.
You'll do this again?
Absolutely. And he's going to be on the card as well.
Well, let me ask you about your performance. What was it like for you to be in the ring as compared to what it was when you left as a professional?
I was very happy to be here, and despite
performance-wise.
Yeah, despite what anybody said, I was so happy to go to 8 rounds. But everybody knows I can knock somebody out, but everybody don't know I can go 8 rounds and 10 rounds. And that's what I'm more grateful for now than anything. And no knockers. Knockers don't mean nothing. You gotta be able to go the distance. That's fighting.
Everybody has a plan until they get hit. You got hit, and how did it affect you?
I went to plan B. I hit him back.
Roy, you want to continue this now at age 51, or did you get dissatisfied at this point?
Man, it's hard to say. My Pensacola fans love me.
We gotta do this again.
Everybody loves Mike. I love Mike too. But, it's something to take them punches in there from Mike. So, I go talk to my family, see how they feel about it. If they thought they enjoyed what they saw, then if we want to do it again, we'll come back and do it again. But, me, like I said, Pensacola in the house. I want to thank everybody who helped me out. Big Al, Tom, Wop, Russ, everybody on my team, Jim Foster. So many people, everybody in Pensacola in the house still. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank the whole world for tuning in, especially my Russian citizens, my Russian people. I was going to say thanks to everybody who gave us the homage, sent us out the right way. And if everything goes well, like I said, and the family's cool with it, then...
A lot of people were afraid, Roy, you might get hurt tonight. Were you really afraid in the back of your head that something could happen that might have put you in peril?
I didn't fight in 20 years. He only stopped fighting for 3 years. I'm afraid I might get... Why nobody care about my ass?
Well, that's typical, right?
I've been fighting 15 years. He stopped fighting 3 years ago, and everybody worrying about his ass.
Nobody thinks that a giant is going to fall.
I haven't did this in 15, 16 years. I'm not a giant. I'm a beginner.
Did he ever hurt you tonight?
Well, listen, he surprised me with the hook. He hit me with a hook, a good hook.
Hurt.
Yes, it did hurt.
And back to the question, were you afraid of being in peril?
Man, once I go in there, it's all balls to the wall, bro. I mean, I feel the shots, and I know they're going to hurt, and I know he could take me out at this positive. He came with the wrong one. But for me, man, I'm game. I go to the end. When I put these on, it's a wrap. Take me on the stretcher. You know?
Final thought. Would you do this in a non-exhibition circumstance if you could get a license?
No, I'm just going to do this. This is bigger than fighting for, winning the championship. We're humanitarians. We're helping people. That's bigger. I'm into that now. And I'd like to thank Magic Mike, Jet, Ron, all my sparring partners for kicking my ass to get me in shape. I love you guys. Can't wait to get back in the gym with you.
Mike, thank you. Enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Roy, congratulations.
Yeah, I want to thank all my sparring partners as well, everybody that contributed. My contribution to Kobe Bryant.
In his building.
Yes, sir. So I had to give a tribute to Kobe because he was my latest greatest. Michael Jordan always be my number one favorite, but Kobe and Iverson right there next, second and third. So. And LeBron, too, everybody's good. So I just enjoy sports, man. I just thank God I was able to come out here and do what I did. And like I said, once again, Pensacola in the house. If Pensacola tells me to go back in there again, guess what? I'm back in there again.
Thank you, Roy. Appreciate it. All right, and thanks to the Staples Center. Mario, back to you.
Thank you so much, Jim. Big thanks again to Mike and Roy for a great night. And thank you to the WBC for providing the scorecard for the Tyson Jones exhibition. The production is going to be making a donation to the WBC Jose Sulaman Boxers Fund, supporting boxing's retired heroes who have fallen into hard times. On behalf of the entire crew of Triller Presents Tyson vs. Jones, thank you so much, everyone at home watching. And, of course, thanks to all the fighters and performers tonight. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of this holiday weekend. Good night, and God bless.
I'm a I was born legend. I can feel the power. Force